Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Okay, I will say this, jumping right in. I didn't know where it was going to go, but I appreciate the comedic element to Liz and Rick hanging out and, and, and the attempt at another walk without crime.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's early on, but she did say one of my favorite lines, which was the last time we went for a walk, we saw Alexis chuck a gun off a bridge, and hilarity did not ensue.
No, and that's not where you go have ice cream. Like once again.
No.
Okay, so what I like so when she made that joke, I just kind of like that. I'm like, okay, I think that's cute that I feel lately they're never missing a detail. They're
Hmm.
always they're always like reinforcing a connection where there is one.
Yes.
So I did not anticipate. I mean, we saw the puzzle pieces being put together, right? We saw like Ava at a park, and insisting on being, and apparently that was unusual. Ava wanting to be at a park because apparently it was so cold in Port Charles. And then, so we know Ava's out. We know that like Joss passed the girls on to Christina. Then we're like, oh, Christina's heading to a park too. Okay. So and then like Liz and Rick are going for a walk. So we all know that like all these characters are going to converge. And I think it was fascinating how Ava left Trina, but then ended up picking up hot chocolates for Donna and Avery.
Yes.
This is me not putting it together, by the way. I was like, how did she do that? I'm like, how did she? I'm like, she was with Trina. I'm like, did she getting hot chocolate? Literally, my brain was like, is she getting hot chocolate for them and then giving it to the girls? Or did she know? But I realized she knew. She knew because I
She
watched the
knows,
rest. I
totally.
watched. I kept watching. I kept watching.
Good, good.
So what did you think of like the fact that after everything Elizabeth said she didn't want to happen, last
Hmm.
thing she wants is to be a witness to anything. She ends up thrown into the middle of a whole issue, custody sort of thing, a kidnapping, actually.
I think in the grand scheme of things and what Elizabeth has gone through, this was like small potatoes.
But it happened though, right? She did walk into a crime. And
Yes, she did.
so like, okay, one, Rick pulls Ava away immediately so she actually doesn't do anything. But there is drama, right? Because Christina is there. And it was kind of tough though. I was surprised with how bold Ava was. No, I'll just take
Right?
her.
I was
And
like, oh my gosh, that is brave, especially with Christina. I mean, she still would have tried it with Joss, and it doesn't matter which one of them it would
I
have been. They would have
don't know.
sassed her, right?
I don't know. Would she have pulled that with Joss?
Ah, I feel like she would have more hung out instead of trying to kidnap her.
Exactly, right? There is definitely more. I mean, they got close at one point, and I was really disappointed that that avenue wasn't pursued. Like
Same,
more.
same.
Like we got a couple scenes where like Ava somewhat like mommed her a little bit or gave her advice about Dex, but I kind of hoped that that would go further. I actually really enjoyed the Joss Ava bond, particularly because Ava has this bond with Trina. And, it was kind of nice for like Trina's sake to have like this calmness, right? And I don't know, there was just
Yes.
something interesting at the time because at that point, Joss didn't want to hear anything her mom had to say
Right?
about the reality of dating, a person that likes danger and you pick them and now you want to like make them over.
Yes, you
And,
do.
and Ava had experience too. And I feel like at that point, like Joss was in a place where she needed to hear things that did not come from her mom.
And Ava was the perfect person for that. I loved it.
Yeah, so okay, that helps you feel better. Yes, I think she would have hung out with Joss. I think there would have been less animosity for sure. But okay, so like Rick pulls her away, but then Christina just goes off to Elizabeth about like saying, if I can't have my daughter, she can't have hers. And it's like, whoa, like you're just babysitting here.
So therapy has not been working.
No, 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 no. The rage has risen once again. So So the thing is, like, for me, this custody thing irks me all kinds. Like, Sunny has a
Yeah.
conversation with Natalia, and I was like, please, Natalia, do us all a favor and please spare us a custody battle. Again,
Mhm.
I kind of like that certain points were finally acknowledged. For one, Avery is big. She's very big.
Right?
She can talk. She's old enough. You know what I mean? I kind look, I am super annoyed because you explained this to me. Sonny had Ava move in his home. He gave Avery 24/7 access to her mother
Mhm.
and then randomly goes, nope,
We
want
done.
full custody. Again, oh, right, I remember. It was the whole Christina thing. I'm like, is
Yeah.
this about the pills? But again, so this is the thing that confuses me a lot. It doesn't have to do with one another. You know what I mean? Like Sunny used the custody to punish Ava because of whatever was going on. But that has little to do with the custody arrangement. I'm sorry, but this is a fact I will never get over. There's certain things when it comes to General Hospital that I will never let go of. One,
Okay.
when Elizabeth
Yes.
hid who Jason was and kept him as a Doe, a John Doe, a Jake Doe, whatever. She kept a Doe, okay? And when
Mhm.
when the secret came out, there was really very little hell to pay. Like Robin was there, right?
Yes.
And Robin had little to say. And I remember at the time that there was a reason I thought Robin would have something to say. Carly had bit her tongue because, you know, her at the time thought to be dead son, or maybe had come back, had donated, right? That Elizabeth had donated her child's organ to Josh was
Mhm.
a big factor in why Carly had refused to go off on her. But again,
Yes.
it kind of bugged me. Yeah, she was a pariah, sort of, but we never got like a crazy confrontation. Next,
Yes.
the zero voiceover when they replaced Lucas. I am never going to get over that. I am happy with this, Lucas. I'm fine with it, but I will never
Yes.
get over the fact that you just out of nowhere go here and you don't say a word. You don't say the role of Lucas is currently being played by this guy. I again, very, very upset. And another thing that I will never let
So
go of
rude.
is the fact that Sunny was dead for 9 goddamn months and
Mhm.
Ava and Carly happily shared custody. And remember, Ava had no reason to share custody with Carly. She didn't have to.
Nope.
She put Avery first, okay? It doesn't matter. Ava's problem is with everyone, but not her daughter.
Yes.
Not her daughter.
Yes.
And that could not have been more true when she was handed over power after those in power really abused it and
Oh
kept
yeah.
her away from Avery as punishment for Morgan. And when Sunny was gone and she was finally handed the right to her daughter, she never shoved that in anyone's face. She drew the lines that needed to be drawn, and she
Yes.
acknowledged that Carly was her daughter's family. I don't think it's right that Sonny is too busy or he's living who knows where, and that Avery is with Carly and not with Ava. And then to come to learn that they're in this custody battle, and it turns out that Sonny can have a custody arrangement and then just decide he doesn't want to adhere to it. I'm confused. So if Ava wants to show her daughter her apartment, that's kidnapping. But when
Yeah.
Sonny decides, hey, I'm not going to do 50-50, I'm once again going to punish you. Last time it was for Morgan, this time it's for Christina, and you don't get your daughter. Shouldn't she have been able to call the police and say he's not abiding by our agreement? Like, when did
Thank
he
you
get full
very
custody?
much.
When did he get full custody? Exactly.
No idea, but when they had that scene when they were in the apartment together, that was like everything was coming out and you're like, "Wait a second." So she
Oh,
had to like to stand on like what is actually happening here?
it just made zero sense. Like the fact that he comes back from the dead, like literally, I will never forget that scene where she bursts into Carly's kitchen, super comfortable. Hey, Carly, and they were just gonna make arrangements again, arrangements that Ava never had to make. And I'm pretty sure, like, and Ava's also done things like this, where when she felt like when she was being stalked by
Yes.
Esme, that she had Carly take care of Avery.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then Sunny comes back and ruins it, ruined
Ruins
everything.
everything.
And then he comes, and just because he came back, it was like you don't get your daughter anymore. And I thought that was insane. What judge would go, okay, you were dead for 9
Yeah.
months because the mother's best friend kept you hidden.
Mhm.
Child has been with mom this entire time, full time, has amicably shared custody with stepmom during this whole time.
Mhm.
Why am I going to give you all the custody back? Mr. Guy who came back from the dead, who didn't bother to Google his family?
Exactly. Thank you very much. Case dismissed.
So again, so enraged, also annoyed that Rick wouldn't stop butting in. It's like,
Oh
dude,
my word.
do not take this to court. I could not tolerate. And the fact that he finally acknowledged, yeah, so look, it turns out Avery is not a pawn anymore. We can't fight over her as if she's an object because she's asking. And how could you? How could you, after
I
giving her
know.
24-hour access to her mom, cut her mom out? What's the matter with you?
So messed up in
Anyways,
so
so
many ways.
yeah, so I'm just so angry about this. And I mean, for all the growth I thought Christina had, for her to be a brat and be like, "Oh, fine. Wow, dad, taking the easy way out." Like, this is not about him. It's about Avery and,
Yeah.
and the fact that like she can't put Avery first. I mean, she was like, I just can't with that. So basically, this is what I'm thinking. This whole thing that was staged, like having Elizabeth like witness all this custody thing, thinking, okay, is this
Mhm.
going to end up in the court? And then they resolved it. So clearly, that whole thing at the park,
Mhm.
players involved, had zero to do with, Sunny and Ava specifically, but is clearly a buildup
Mhm.
with regards to what Christina might end up doing. So
Oh
we're
yeah.
watching Christina's circle shift due to Lucky. So Elizabeth is being brought into her circle as a result of Lucky. We have Isaiah also being pulled in. So they are
Mhm.
creating this new world for Lucky. Again, part of the whole generational thing and turning things over, but like
Yes.
Christina's getting a bit of a new world now.
She really is.
I don't
And
know
she
what
needs
she's going
this
to do with it.
I don't know, but she really does need the support. I did feel a little spark between her and Isaiah. Like I know
Me
he's like
too.
all Jordan, but I did
Well,
feel like a little flirtiness.
okay, let's do the math here. So he's into Jordan, Jordan's into him, but Jordan is also really good at her job,
Oh yeah, big
just
time.
period. So she has this whole thing going and she says, "You need to take space for me." Okay, a setup for Christina and Isaiah. The whole fact that he's carrying this secret from her dad. So already there's this like personal element. He already
Mm.
knows the dad, he already knows the family, and he's like rooting for the family and he's like pouring all of that there. I don't know who's pouring, but I said it.
Okay.
Okay. Nobody's pouring, I don't know what. But
Okay, got it, got it.
back to Jordan's world. So
Yes.
Jordan is like, taking Jen's around like an accessory, as Lucy tries to do. And so
Mhm.
she sets up this meeting, and that's exactly what I was thinking. So I had posted, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe like last week about like Jen somehow getting his hands on the Esplanade to legitimize himself, but also to screw over Drew. But then
Mhm.
we saw that he bet with Drew. And we're like, okay,
Yes.
I guess not. But then Jordan meets with him. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking maybe Drew does get screwed in this scenario, but now her scenario includes Curtis. And so they have this meeting. Jens, who has an ex wife himself, is really impressed
Mhm.
about how she's getting on with Curtis. And I thought it was so funny when she said, "Oh, he's happily married." And then Curtis is like lurking, just staring at them. So it's possible, there's possibilities, right? Should Isaiah, get close to Christina? Does it turn into anything? We don't know. But I'm starting to think that, like, I don't know, like, suddenly we have a Curtis that knows things. Like, he knows Jens is a bad guy.
Yes.
And I feel like he's going to be like, I don't know, around Jordan more.
Yes, because his gut instinct was this is a bad guy,
Yeah.
which, yeah, he's done a lot of things somewhat right lately. So, yeah, I do feel he's going to be following her around, staying close. There's something
I mean,
weird
it's
going to
not
happen
right for
there.
Portia, but like he's done something.
No, it's
It's
no.
not. It's not. So yeah, I don't know what will happen to Portia and all of this. I don't.
I never know what's gonna happen to her.
No,
She just, like,
no.
smiles big and loves her job, like, I don't
And
know.
then they remind us that she's got something going on with Brad.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, since we're talking about, like, all these people and Christina, can we I need to talk about this. Like,
Yeah, let's
I
do
need
it,
to
let's do
talk
it.
about Lulu going to talk to her.
I don't even know I still don't know how I feel about that scene because, like, I just so you wanna know about their love, you wanna, like, know deeply who Sam was so you can warn her better and how sad Christina is or depressed about the situation, like, are you serious right now? Like, just
So Lulu. Okay.
mm.
She's trying to life. She's doing what she can. And so rather than go to work, she's like, I'm gonna go. I think the best time to go talk to my donor's family is in the middle of
Mm.
a work day.
Oh, of course,
So
yeah. Right.
so she decides to go over there. And then it occurs to me, I'm like, right. Christina's her ex-sister-in-law because she was married to Dante.
Right.
Right. So
Yes.
that occurred to me.
Yes.
And then I was like, whoa, right? So yeah, this is her first contact with Sam's family. And she decided to start with Christina. And I'm like, okay, so we know this is really tough for Lulu to do. But I'm also watching Christina and I'm watching how she's not at all trying to make it easy, right? Like when it's
Mhm.
clear that Lulu feels to blame. And
Yes.
Christina is not exactly in a rush to jump in and say anything. It was clearly really awkward. So it was interesting to watch, right? Because it was awkward. And Christina, I feel she held on to what was hard for her at the beginning.
Yes.
And she was in her own feelings thinking, and that's, again, it's her sister. And I think it was shocking to see Lulu. And then they
Mhm.
started talking, and then she took some deep breaths and she was able to remember, like, okay, I think she was trying to honor Sam, for one.
Yes.
And so it's just being like, yeah, this is really hard for me because you is like a walking reminder that my sister's not here.
Right.
And then she starts kind of going, okay, look, my sister did this for you and started going into that aspect, right? Like my sister's an amazing person. She'd never hesitate to do this for you. And the fact that she was able to say that these two things do not go hand in hand, her death and, the her decision to have this surgery for you and to be a donor. So I was like, okay, this is like I liked it. It was
Yeah.
awkward, it was hard. I like that it wasn't obvious because I'm like, okay, how is Christina feeling? I didn't really know. So I did kind of like the rawness of the scene. And
Mhm.
then Christina was like, yeah, like Dante and Sam is like my favorite love story of all
I know,
time.
I could not. It was the best.
That was like the best for me. And honestly, Lulu's doing a really good job of pretending she has a 4-year distance from Dante. She's been pretty good in front of Dante,
Mhm.
maintaining that face, and also with Christina, except Christina called her on it, right? Because Lulu's been doing a great job of showing respect and space to what Dante and Sam had. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised she's held it together in the way that she has. And maybe
Mhm.
with Dante, it's easy. Like, maybe one reason why someone like Lulu, who's very all about Lulu, is able to do that is maybe it makes her feel useful. Like she feels like everyone's treating her with kid gloves. And maybe this really feels like,
Ah,
especially with
yes.
Dante, this thing that she could do for him, this noble thing. Um, and so when she was talking to Christina, Christina had no problem, like just saying and talking about Dante and Sam, but she did acknowledge, like, if it's not too weird, I'll be happy to share.
Yes.
There is weirdness between them because, like, when she suddenly had to leave for work, Christina was taken aback.
I know, like, I was ready to pour my heart out. Now you can't be responsible and you realize you're late for work.
Yeah, and for Christina to feel like you're responsible and that you made a really weird decision to talk about such a deep topic, like, 2
Mhm.
minutes before your work meeting.
Yeah, it was weird. So weird.
And I felt like going, no, like, the meeting is happening now, like, it's been happening.
Right?
You've just not been at work. Like, you're at a bar, you didn't go there at 9 AM. I know that bar's not open at 9 AM. This
She
is
was
late
going to work to, like,
afternoon.
check out exactly, to check out for lunch, like, she just
What is going on? Like, how are you late for a meeting when you should be in that building? And then they're like, "She's not used to deception hours." I'm
I
like,
cannot.
"You mean daytime?" Like, anyways, I just can't. I just can't with that. She can't use a clock. Anyways, but yeah, so she really just started talking about their love, and Lulu felt that without knowing every detail of their love story, she couldn't honor Sam. I don't know if that's true. I don't think it's needed.
I don't either. I don't
Okay.
see, yeah,
So
okay.
we're on the same page. That was
Totally.
weird. That was weird. And but the thing is, like, she's this assistant to Brooklyn, but it turns out she could have had a whole other job. I kind of like that she out loud made a decision and then was like, I could have done this. So I just have to ask, when she was in there, she went to go see Joss. And in my head, I'm like, that's kind of cool though, because I do remember scenes with like Joss, like having scenes alone with Lulu. I
Mhm.
remember, I think she was like house sitting or she was babysitting.
Okay.
And that's when that character, Dev, came on. And Dev,
Okay, yeah,
like,
yeah.
broke into the house, and then they had this whole talk. So and I remember back then, like, Lulu had referred to Jocelyn as Dante's sister,
Okay.
and I still remember that scene. So in my head, I was like, "Wow, that's really cool," because it's like she knew, like, Joss from little, and it's been the same Joss for a long time. So yeah, they hadn't seen each other for a while. But then her, you know how it's weird, it's tricky, Lulu's, view of her family, wanting to
Yes, of
feel like
course.
she's a Spencer. So she's like, "Wow, like maybe I should have joined the family business." And I'm like, "Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, maybe you should have taken a beat before you made any decision."
Right?
That's just me. Like literally most of your family owns things. Like your mom's a mayor,
Like, I
you
know,
know?
it is ridiculous.
Carly owns two businesses. Olivia like Tracy, like every you could, you know what I mean? Like you could have taken your time and had like your picking. So I think Johnny made a comment, so she's there and she's like, "Oh, I could have done this." And then the fact that she's happy to see a Spencer behind the counter, the fact that they're still mentioning Ruby,
I know.
kind of cool. And so she wants to cover. And in my head, I'm thinking, so if you've never waited tables,
Oh my gosh, right?
I don't know, whatever. I didn't think it was the best idea. And then Johnny's like, "Oh, well, this will be easy for her, something she won't mess up." And I'm like, "Why would you say
Come
that? Of
on.
course she's gonna
Come
mess this
on.
up." And I'm just like, "Okay, Lulu, I know you've never waited tables, but there was like not many people in there, okay? And you can't remember that you never spoke to that woman, that
I
you
know,
never took
right?
her order because she didn't have a menu, and you had to
Yeah, that was a
remember two
lot.
two orders. So that means there was only two people that you spoke to that you had to like, you know." So it was funny watching that and then Dante walking in and seeing that,
Mhm.
and then he figured it out.
I don't think he's ever worked there before. Like,
No, but he's seen it done, and then I was just shocked. I'm like, "Is she also the cook? Because she went back there because she burnt the toast?" I was happy to
yes.
know there was a chef on break. But yeah, they had their laughing scenes, and part of me is like, "Don't make this happen soon."
No, I wouldn't be able to handle that, honestly.
No, I think there needs to be way more time apart.
We need to
Like, more
build,
time.
like he's still dealing with this whole Cyrus situation, his kids living at the Quartermain. He doesn't even know about Geo and their beautiful matching eyelashes. Like we gotta just take it a step at a time.
Okay, I have to say something though, because you know how they were like, "Oh, I don't think I've ever been complimented on my eyelashes before," and I'm like, and like how that's like a ridiculous thing. I'm here to say
Yeah.
it's not ridiculous. I'm obsessed with eyelashes. Johnny has exceptionally long eyelashes. I do not, and I think why? Why give him the eyelashes? It's a waste. It's a waste on him. He can't
I totally
appreciate
agree.
his eyelashes the way I would have appreciated them. And I will say this, all three of our kids have my eyes, my eyebrows, and thankfully his eyelashes, all
They
of them. And I am
do.
hashtag grateful
Cuties.
that all of them, particularly my daughter, has beautiful long lashes.
Ugh.
So I'm here to say that that's important. So Mel, can you help me remember something?
Yeah,
Okay,
ask me.
what are all the ways people learn they're related? I know there was jewelry in one instance. but I feel like there was another silly one after that, and I cannot recall.
Oh no, jewelry was my go-to.
It was jewelry, and I'm like, this is so funny because now it's eyelashes. We're actually getting closer to things that could be DNA. But I know that there was one that happened after that that made me laugh a ton. And I was like, what is this? Like, no one's heard of DNA. It can't be Cody. Was it Cody? I don't remember.
I don't
But
remember.
he
I'm
did take
sorry,
a
I didn't think
DNA
about
test.
this.
But I'm like, it was someone else. Anyways, but yeah. So like they're pushing that forward. The eyelashes came out. Emma noticed.
She totally did. She's like all over it. She loves the drama.
Yeah. 100. Can you imagine Kai? Could you imagine Kai? Like he's in
Normie Kai.
Normie Kai, he's like, "Oh man, that's pretty that's crazy that this guy they think he killed someone." She's like, "Yeah, he's horrible. He held me and my mom at gunpoint." You're like, "What?" He held me hostage and he was just like, "What?" Like that's not something you expect. And this kid still gets up. He's like, "You know what? I was a quarterback. Let me handle this." And then he gets and goes to Cyrus, says, hey man, I'm gonna buy you some drinks and you gotta go. I was like, wow, this is insane to me. This is so insane to me. He was like a normie, like literally right up until the moment he met Trina. And,
Yeah.
and you know what the worst part is? When he hears that story, I'm thinking, she never even mentioned Esme.
Oh my gosh. Wait. Just wait.
Like, hey man, do you remember like that hook killer? I was the prime target. Never found me.
That was
Never found
me.
me. Yeah. But murdered my boyfriend though. Murdered my boyfriend.
Yeah, soup sad.
It's okay. I met another one after. He died too. He died too. Anyways, like, do you want to go get a coffee? Like,
I'm not bad like I swear.
because like Trina was once a normie, and look, her life went to
Yeah.
hell after.
It really did.
Yeah.
She didn't, yeah. I don't know what she did. She maybe called herself a normie one too many times.
The whole Emma Geo thing, right? She's always this person who's like so erratic. And then, he'll find something that makes her seem a bit more human. So once again, he's like, ugh, Emma, poor timing. And then she's like, I was trying to distract Trina. I did see into her heart and soul. He's like, wow, I guess I never looked at it that way. Let's go hang out. You are a good person. There's a constant bounce back between those two.
I don't believe her though.
No, not even a little bit. I was
No.
like, yeah, they're trying to make her like a bad girl, but she is in comparison to Geo. Because like Geo plays the violin. So he can't have like a bad girl. He needs a girl who like throws benefits at clubs.
For dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it called? It's like you have to explain what that means.
Oh yeah, like all the things she was saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Do you think she's gonna Oh, okay. You're right. You said she loves the drama, huh?
Yeah.
Is she gonna overhear? Is she gonna be the reason that it blows up?
I feel like she definitely could be because she's teetering on the edge of trying to figure out who she is, coming from the family that she did. And she's just like loving all of this big stuff that's happening in Port Charles. So she just might be, but spins it as I'm doing what's best for you, Gio.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her right now, but I
No,
can
me
see that
neither.
if she may really enjoy being at the quartermains because there's so much drama going on there. And so she might end up around a bit more often.
True. That's true.
All
There's a
her favorite
lot to
things.
overhear.
Yeah. There's Geo, there's drama. That's all she needs.
Exactly.
So Felicia tried to fix some of that drama.
That was the worst idea in public. I
For
mean, I know it's a
real,
soap
right?
opera.
He's a loose cannon. Loose cannon. And you're like, I'm gonna take this guy out in public. It'll be fine. It's like that's the problem. That's where he gets arrested. And the fact that you think taking him somewhere public is gonna keep him toned down,
Right? Oh my word.
this I just could not wrap my head around because I'm like, did he just say this out loud? I don't even like you barely even know him. He said to Jason, take responsibility for like once in your life. And I'm like, wow, okay, like you don't even
Weird.
what once in your life? Like just he's talking like he knows him. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
just a throwaway line. I'm like, what are you, Drew? Did someone implant memories? Did you read Lucy's book? Do you feel you know everything about the Quartermains? Like, I thought it was baffling that he said that line because it just reflects how, like, off the wall and out of touch Cody is. Also, at that whole restaurant thing, so it was really funny, right? Because we have like all the players of the custody thing happening.
Yes.
So again, Nina was hilarious, but I'm just thinking she may have wanted to talk to Martin first, since she is paying Martin, because he wants her to kind of get the divorce.
Yeah, he does big time because he wants to get paid for all that time.
And and she wants Martin to tell Willow that it's best not to hang out with her lover. And he couldn't do that. He's like, I don't see why not. Everyone knows. And I'm like, I'm surprised they didn't go further into it, but in a way, it's like if she continues to have like a relationship with him, it would show that like while it might have looked like an impulsive or thoughtless thing to do, there was something real.
Exactly.
And you don't want that, but okay, I'm confused because Nina had a talk with Carly. So how do you put those together? So she has the talk with Carly, and then she has to go navigate this situation where she has to take sides and where she has to be against Michael.
I know it's really confusing as to what their plan is. I would really like to know a little bit more.
So their plan is we're gonna have access to his house.
I still don't even understand what that means.
We will find things in his house. Do you think he's hiding another person, another woman at this point? Like the
Uh,
big bombshell was what you couldn't tell her.
I know. I was really hoping that was going to come out, but I get it. Willow is they're talking about their relationship and how much they've grown, and Nina's finally air quotes accepting Drew. I'm like, what is Willow hearing here? Like,
I have like yeah, La La Land entirely, even like the crap that came out of her mouth when like they had that blow up with like Jason and whatever. She's like, "Wow. Like everybody's so against Drew, but like look at Jason." And I was like,
I
"Are
could
you
not. I could not.
coming for Jason now?" Like anything to make Drew like you don't see that. You really don't see that as a problem. Miss, oh my gosh, everywhere I go, people are like judging me. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna like judge Jason and I'm gonna like judge Sasha. And I'm gonna talk about how being judged is really hard. I just I can't. I can't with this. And like when Martin was saying to her, like, do you want to reconcile?
Mhm.
Basically, she's like, I don't want to make a choice. I want to go where the wind takes me. I want to go wherever Drew takes me. But that's like a real legit question. Honestly, I feel this girl is like, look, everybody knows I'm gonna get Drew out of my system, and I really do feel like her backup plan is Michael. Because
Oh yeah, big time.
she doesn't want like I don't again, I can't wrap my head around the fact that this girl could not even have one conversation with Michael. She
On
was
one.
so in lust and she really just wanted to like she was so enamored with Drew, right? I think it's something she just needed to do, but I don't think that's like a future for her, not realistically
Mhm.
anyway, not based on who Drew is because he's not being honest. Him too, he's into the fantasy. He's like, "Wow, I'm developing feelings for my nephew's wife. If the world was different, she could have been mine and we could have been happy." It's like, "No, you don't know that."
No. It's so messed up.
Oh my gosh. So the fact that like she doesn't want to divorce him, she's like, I don't want to divorce Michael until I could talk to him. Okay.
But I'll still sleep with
Like,
Drew.
yeah, like I just nothing she says makes any sense. And then I just couldn't take it when she like decides to do this. Trash Sasha to Nina.
I know, of all the people, seriously.
She says, like Sasha doesn't know what it's like to be judged. I'm like, she had a public mental breakdown.
Hello.
Okay.
Mhm.
She was hounded and baited by the press. And then
Mhm.
after that, she had all that stuff with her mother-in-law. Plus, she had to deal with the fallout of her own actions, right?
Yep.
She pretended to be like that was her first transgression ever. She pretended to be Nina's daughter. She took responsibility for it. She suffered being the pariah. She apologized when she could. And when Nina came around, they made something beautiful happen out of it, but she never walked
Yeah.
around trying to justify her actions. Not never. She knew what she did was wrong, and that's where it's missing. There's like zero humility or accountability with Willow. Every now and again, it peeks through being like, man, I think I might have messed up. I think all those crappy things people are saying about me, I might need to start thinking, are they right? And I'm like, probably about your behavior. Who you are as a person is a very completely different thing, Willow. But I don't think you're stopping for a second to actually consider the impact of your actions. You don't have a circle. You have Nina, and you have Nina literally because you have no one else. Like this is like for me, you you married Michael, you talk about his side of the family, but that's who you chose to join, right? You have the
Mhm.
Spencers, Corinthos, the Quartermains. And I found that was really highlighted when Tracy walked in. She is feeling judged by all the people that were Michael's that belonged to him. You know what I mean? It's like she's literally in the house being like, why is his family hates me? It's like, yeah, you did something
Yeah.
wrong to him. He welcomed you to their family, and all this audience you're talking about, they're his. Like, what did you expect? Like, that's what I mean. Like, she's so off in terms of what her expectations are. It's like, this is like, she's not a horrible person, right? When Chase says,
Mhm.
she's a good person. I believe that. But there's a distinction between her being a good person and having just made decision that hurt a lot of people and made a mistake. She's allowed to make mistakes, right? But I find every decision after that mistake, oh man, ouch. Like she made things 20 times worse.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, and it's so fascinating because I love the how they're building this Willow, Nina. We've talked about, what's going to happen with Willow's actions. How is it going to be a reflection of how Nina used to be? And like the first part of how you were describing Willow in that scene, we could have just taken out the name Willow and just slapped Nina right on that from a couple of years
Oh
ago.
yeah.
It's
Oh
wild.
yeah.
I love it.
But it's like now she's all jelly belly. She's like, I want to be your only daughter. And Sasha has confronted her on that. Like, "Oh, now you want Nina? Now?"
Yeah. Yep.
Like that's the thing. Sasha never turned her back on Nina. Like Nina was like cuckoo bananas, but
Oh
the point
yeah.
is she was family to some people, including Maxie and all that stuff. And they were going to be there for her no matter what. And we talked about that. Maxie loved
Hmm.
her. It didn't mean she condoned what she did. Sasha did not necessarily condone what she did, but she went back and forth. She loved Willow and she loved Nina. But I can't imagine what it's like for Sasha having watched Willow reject her and can see blatantly that you were welcoming Nina into your life now that everyone else has forsaken you.
Exactly. Or like between that and like the fact that Willow is still wearing, I love what Tracy had to say to her. Like, I
Oh,
love
yeah.
what Tracy said to her because you were sleeping with Drew and still wearing Lila's ring. Like, seriously, you have not taken that thing off?
That's what I mean. Like everything I was saying, I love that it was captured in that scene and that Tracy can shake her out of her little bubble. She acts like it's her and Michael and Drew and she had feelings and it's just that simple. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you didn't just marry Michael, you moved in to his family home with
Yeah.
all of those people. You married into that family. It wasn't just Michael. And you were afforded a lot. You know what I mean? Like that ring, it's a family heirloom. That's what I mean. Like she doesn't seem to understand how her actions really shook everybody else.
Exactly. She's too worried about herself. People judging her.
And the fact that like Nina had to explain to her, given the situation she's in right now, right? She made this mistake. She's navigating it. But, people will get past it. People will forget and it's about her, not letting go of herself. And again, one same advice Lucy had given to Sasha after she had lied to
Mm-hmm.
Nina. All you can really do is put one foot in front of the other for as long as you're the pariah and focus on just being the better person, like bettering yourself and having people see
Yes.
that. And that's how you move through it. You have to deal with the discomfort until you get to the other side. But then you have moments like Nina of the past and Drew and Willow of the present where they want to skip the messy part and just jump to where everything is fine. And I just think it's insane given where she is that Nina had to explain the concept of like forgiveness, that we all make mistakes. Like to be
Yes.
like, how could you
Wild.
accept, it's so big of you to have Sasha be in your life? And it's like, oh my gosh, what is the matter
Mm-mm.
with you? Like, what is that?
Right? It's wild
So
to watch.
It's hard to watch, but it's interesting. I'm liking the fact because like sometimes you're like, I'm so frustrated. But then she had that moment where she became vulnerable about like, basically showing us that her acting this way in a really annoying way, pretending like she's not done anything wrong, is her shield protecting herself. Because it came
Yes.
down for a minute where she's saying it is getting to her. She is questioning if she's a good person or not. I just think, look, you're not a terrible person. You made a mistake, but you're refusing to slow down before making a next choice and a next choice and a next choice. In your
Mhm.
marriage, you have these overwhelming feelings that you did not, let's say, you talk about wanting people to be honest with you, but you couldn't go to Michael and be honest with yourself about feelings you had. And I'm not even talking about Drew, just about your relationship. You didn't go to Michael, right?
Yeah.
You didn't kind of do the adult thing and talk about stuff and keep things between the two of you. So then, because of the wall between you and Michael that you contributed to, you were drawn to Drew, who filled in all those gaps that you didn't work within your marriage to kind of fill.
Mhm.
And those emotions led you to make those mistakes. And that's the thing. The mistake hasn't ended because you're still allowing your emotions to take control of every single decision. And you haven't stopped to look a little deeper to understand why you are where you are, because these are drastic
Mhm.
changes and shifts. Like, even for herself, she's like, am I a wife who cheats? She asked this question ages ago. Like, maybe you want to stop and think about that. Like, clearly you're saying to yourself, am I really doing this? I never thought that I
Yeah.
would be a person to kind of make any decisions like that. So maybe you want to just stop. Also, like, how many times you need to move your kids around before you go like, huh, I want something stable for them, but I'm noticing nothing stable
Right?
about me in this moment. Nothing at all.
Oh my gosh, seriously.
So, I mean, look, it's annoying and frustrating, but I love how it's going. I love having those moments of her humility poking out, and I do look forward to it because there's so many other secrets to come, right? They want to look for dirt on Michael. And in my head, I'm like, how do you reconcile this, Nina? Because you have this deal with Carly to protect your grandchildren, but you have
Yeah.
to be careful not to go for Michael.
Right? Like it all falls into the same category of protecting her kid.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing. So she sees Sunny, and
Mhm.
then it dawns on Sunny that everyone she's close to he's up against. And I'm like, huh, that's funny. It never dawned on you that after you came back from Nixon Falls, that all the people you loved were hurt by Nina specifically?
Thank you.
I mean, I feel like that was a pointed comment. I mean, I can't imagine there was no consideration of Nixon Falls in the weight of that comment. Like, to the audience
Right?
at the very least. Like, for that to correct things, right? Because there's so many things that Sunny never admitted to as that
Oh yeah.
storyline unfolded. Like, yes, they got to a place where everybody found peace again, but
Not
Sunny
with his help.
never, yeah, Sunny never admitted to anything he did. Everything just snowballed into a marriage.
Right? It was so messed up.
So a part of me feels like maybe that was to the audience, like, yeah, we know. We know it's messed up. You didn't notice that before. Anyways, but that scene happened. And I felt like she was so happy when he invited her to sit down. Like, I think I'm Carly now. Because Carly always stayed important after to him.
Yeah, and he's like, I wish I could tell you stuff. It's like you never told her stuff before, so what's the difference?
But I mean, I guess, like if not for those people, he might have actually, yeah, he can't say anything. What am I
No, nothing real.
No, 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 no. And that's the whole point, right? There was nothing really truly real about their whole
Ex-
relationship.
oh, ever, ever, ever.
So do you think as much as so Jason made promises, right? Because Sasha walks in because Jason was there before with Sunny. And he's
Yes.
like, what's that about? He's like, family stuff. My baby,
I was
her
like,
baby,
ooh.
our baby. It's like, so when this whole thing happened, I was irritated because I was like, if Jason and Sasha have to pretend whatever, that's basic soap opera shenanigans 101. We
Yes.
expected it. They've been setting the groundwork. For me, I was annoyed because I'm like, but there's a real person, Danny, involved. So I was actually really happy that was a consideration, because I'm like, that is too much. Like, we had to watch so many
I
characters,
know.
like even a Sasha, suffer with trauma after trauma in such a short amount of time. So I was really glad that they took that into consideration and they looped Danny in. So that makes it easier for me. And while Jason is not allowed to say anything to anyone else, I do find it really difficult to believe that he'll tell this to Sunny and to Carly,
Hmm.
and they're just gonna be like, sure, sure, yeah, okay, we believe you. Like, I don't see that they know each other too well, right? They know
Yes,
each other
exactly.
way too well. And Carly was present when Michael asked for Sasha. It's going to take all of 2 seconds to stare at Jason's face and be like, did you sleep with Sasha?
Exactly.
And I feel like they're his besties. They know him so well. I can't, like, they haven't had scenes yet. And I think maybe they're just buying time,
Yes, I think
because
so
I
too.
can't imagine a world where the topic comes up and it's believed.
Same. Like, I just don't see how this is gonna fly with Carly.
Because everyone else, all he has to do is stay silent, and that's enough, right? Because everybody else has jumped to the conclusion they want, but like, that's not what like a Carly or a Sunny would do. So I, again, I'd be so surprised if they buy what Jason is selling, because he's not even choosing to tell a lie. That's the whole point. Him and Sasha, this whole plan is essentially a lie by omission, and a simple refusal to confirm or deny everybody else's suspicions. So the whole speaking of the whole like Danny Jason thing, this all happens after he collects them from Charlie's. So that was just amazing. I was like, did Jason actually say that? He was like, get your hands off my son or I'm gonna kill you.
I was shocked, but like I felt like you in that moment because I'm like, oh my god, Jason has never been hotter.
Yeah, I was like, that's amazing. And honestly, I'm just kind of annoyed. How is that a crime? Oh no,
Truly.
sticks and stones. He used his words. They don't hurt. Like, he threatened him. And it's like, Martin went to go tattle. It's not like Cyrus said I had a problem with it. You can't just go like, oh my God, I witnessed a threat. Nobody cares. It didn't happen to you.
Well, that's exactly it. If the person themselves didn't come forward, how is Martin's word going to get Jason arrested?
Exactly. So Danny goes there, but I noticed that like Lucky put his hand on Christina to stop her. Why?
Hmm. He wanted to see how it was going to play
Mm,
out. Like he's building his case too,
it's
and
true.
of course nobody's going
Oh,
to let
right.
anything happen to this child. There were so many witnesses, but I think he just wanted to figure out where this was going.
No, you're totally right. I completely forgot that Lucky was looking into that very thing about Cyrus actually killing Sam also, and wanted to know how he would react to the accusation. Yeah, that makes total sense. Makes total sense. So, what I found hilarious is that you have Jason being like, Danny, no, no, don't go near Cyrus. And then you have Anna also doing that with Joss. Joss, no, no, don't go near Cyrus. And I was dying because I'm like, this is really funny. And then like Anna is kind of having the same conversation with Joss as she's with Jason. Like, how did
Yeah.
you like Joss talking to Anna? Being like, should I call Diane? Or blah blah blah, should I call Diane? And like, I thought you arrested her because I was like, didn't Jason see her in the cell at
That's
any
what I
point?
was thinking.
It was
But I guess
so
not. Maybe they have two cells,
she
different sections.
she said all the things that I was thinking. She's like, there are a lot of people who are blonde. I'm not the only person that's blonde. She's like, we had you identified. She's like, Tom. But once again, in that crime too, how is it a crime if Cyrus doesn't know? Like, if somebody came, if the police knew that someone came into my house because someone else let them in, and I didn't know that, and I didn't press charges, how could you arrest them? Like, I don't even understand.
I mean, we know Anna. We don't know if she follows the rules, makes up her own rules. Like, we don't know what's happening. She's arresting people left and right.
She obviously is making up her own rules, and she's arresting Jason just because like he wouldn't give her anything. She's like, you're not being nice to me, so I'm gonna
And
keep
you
you.
impregnated somebody else, and I kind of have a crush on you. We kissed once.
I know, right? Because he's like, look, he was not gonna go out and kill Cyrus, but
No.
and like Martin was. I mean, Martin knows what they did, so whatever. But she was just like, you're being closed off. So I'm gonna arrest you. I'm gonna arrest all of you because it's like, yes, Anna, they're gonna be the reason you can't find
Because
evidence.
she's a cool cop.
I'm a cool girl. I need you to like me. Like me. Like I'm just saying, like if we know that the cause of death, wait, what's that pill? What's that medicine?
Digitalis.
Digitalis. I'm like, it's a computer and a medicine.
That's how I remember it too.
Okay, digitalis. Like, what are you doing to investigate? Why aren't you doing exactly what Lucky and Elizabeth are doing? They're learning
Seriously.
wherever Cyrus goes and they're checking cause of deaths.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yeah, she's never going to be the one to arrest Cyrus, but we know
Oh,
that.
never.
But I
Mhm.
liked how like Danny found him. I like how they were like, let's find him on social media. He's an old guy. He's gonna have what is it? My face.
Oh my god. He said, "Well, he's old and he might have killed someone, so he might not have a MyFace account." Amazing.
It was so good. It was so good. Okay. So yeah, so everybody stopped going after but the thing is like nobody knows that Lucky and Elizabeth are going after Cyrus.
No, but for a split second, I thought Alexis was. Were you sucked into that story?
You mean her scene with Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, "What?" I was like, like first of all, he was like cuffed, and she was playing. I know this is so silly when we point this out. Did you notice that actor acting like she was pretending to be
No,
his lawyer? I
no.
was caught up in that.
The
I'm like, look,
lay.
she was had the notepad out pretending. Meanwhile, she's not helping him at all. She's actually talking about murder. She's planning a crime in that room, and so I was just taken by her pretending to be his lawyer even though she pretends to be a lawyer for her whole life living.
Okay, so side note, when Joss was apologizing to Cyrus, I was like, oh my God, the acting. She's acting so well. Like the acting on top of acting was next
Okay.
level.
Yes. And then I was scared for her. I'm like, I hope she knows that
I
she
know.
could look back, that she actually has to like hold
Uh,
it. Hold it.
yeah, yeah.
And she did. I was like, oh my, I was so impressed that she
Me
held
too.
it. And he's like, wow, I'm gonna pray for Jocelyn. He's like, I love her. And that's why I'm gonna murder Elizabeth with Digitalis.
Uh,
Like Isaiah better walk around with that antidote. I'm just saying, but she's gonna get Digitalis. 100%. Anyways, um, so yeah, everybody acting crazy. I can't believe they thought to do that at their job. But then when they were talking, I was like, this is so funny because it's like co-counsel, co-murder. It's just all about teamwork. So
yeah.
I feel like Alexis has the skills down. And to be fair, I feel like she's been in prison more than Jason's ever have.
Oh my gosh, that is very accurate.
But I love how she was because at the end of the conversation, I'm like, wait a second. You led me to
She
believe
tricked me. Yeah.
that you wanted to hold the tarp. Okay. This is what you led me to believe. First, you're like, I want to murder him and I want
Mhm.
my face to be the last thing he sees. Then Jason's like, that's not you. She's like, no, that's you. I'm like, okay. She wants to tag along. Fair. And then she's like, none of us should do it. I'm like, Alexis, what was
This
this? You
sucks.
had me going. I was excited. Jason was probably super excited. He's like, I knew you were down with murder, because she's killed a few people herself.
True, true, true.
But I think it would have been so cool if she did, I don't know, team up, co-murder. It's not like he's ever gonna be at the table with her in the courtroom and like co-counsel anything. But this could have been a real bonding moment for the two of them.
Even if we saw them like planning it and then her like saying, "Ah, I don't want to go through with it," but just like a
No,
few
no, no, no,
other
no, no, no,
moments.
no, 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 no backing out, no backing out. Alexis is not going to back out. This is what I'm picturing. Do you remember what it was like when they stole Ryan's organ? Was it a liver?
I do.
Because
I
everybody only
do.
has one. So, or I don't remember what they stole. A kidney?
I feel like it was a kidney because you got
Kidney.
two of
Yeah.
those, and Jordan needed one. So
Yes, exactly. She didn't have one. Well, whatever.
exactly.
Okay, so it was probably a kidney. Do you remember what the scenes were like after when they kind of showed everyone shuffling
Yes,
around
I
and
freaking
walking
loved
away?
it.
Goosies. So I would have been super impressed if, like, they showed it. He gets murdered or something, and
Mhm.
then they show as much as they can, so we're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, it was Jason. Like they show you everything, and then like when the story is wrapped, they go back to the scene and they show you where like Alexis was there
Oh my word.
also.
They like pan out and
And
she's
you'd be like, she
there
was there the whole time
the whole
and she got
time.
exactly what she wanted. That's literally what was going through my mind when they were having that conversation. And then she ripped it away, being like, oh, people can be guilty when you kill people on their behalf. Fine. Fine. We're not going to do it.
I wasn't there for the life lesson. I was there for the murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, come on, Danny, you're ruining this for everybody. You should have stayed out of it. Okay.
um,
How can we forget my favorite moment? Favorite moment, had all my
tell
favorite
me.
lines. Okay,
Yeah.
so Jordan is my favorite superhero. Maxie is just, she's just so amazing. She's so phenomenal. So
She
phenomenal.
is.
She gets all my stars. She is definitely one of my favorites. And so the whole like Carly, Brennan, Maxie, Lucas scene.
Yes.
That was amazing. So first of all, I have to like the conversation between Carly and Lucas. I couldn't even believe it. So he's talking all casual, being like, it's one thing to date a mob boss, a hitman, a reformed serial killer. And then, and then Carly is super calm, is like, well, I don't think he's worse than that. And then when he started talking about the lies, like, look, Carly has never taken Lucas's advice. I've seen all the episodes where he tried to warn her against Sunny, and that's like not going to happen. But I do think some groundwork is being laid out here. I think you have a lot of warnings against Brennan, and you have Carly saying, I don't want anything serious. So I really do think they're leaving an opening for nothing to end up happening in the end with these two. Like,
Yes.
I think they're definitely setting the stage for like, this is fun, guys. This is just in the moment. It might get juicy, but don't hold your breath. It's not gonna like go. That's what I felt was happening. But then they
Yeah. Same.
continued having this conversation because he's like, oh, he's gonna lie. I'm like, okay, but who cares? Like he's lying about his job. It's it's not the same. I mean, it is, but it's not the same. And so
Yes.
then she casually goes, I really don't think that he's gonna try to kidnap or steal a baby and try to pass it off as ours.
Amazing.
So their
Amazing.
lines back and forth were amazing. What stunned me when Maxie decided to
Mhm.
kind of go confront and talk to Brennan, that it actually was on behalf of Carly.
Yes, I loved it so much.
So it's like they're showing us, she's related to Lucas. Lucas is Carly's brother, but after Bobby passed, they really did this huge thing of like reuniting and solidifying the Spencer and I guess the Joneses, the Scorpios, if you will. So the whole like Bobby having that friendship with Felicia, Felicia and Carly finally clearing the air and truly kind of like stepping in for Bobby, like when it came to Carly and that investigator, and looking out for each other. And just the fact that the baby, like the fact that like they're actually joining these families even more so, like like Maxie has always been in the circle of the Carly Sunny, you know what I mean? She's always saying like,
Yes.
I don't like that Michael got hurt. Everybody can do what they want, but I don't like that. But the fact that they're actually going to join their families, the fact that you have like Sasha and Michael is so huge and kind of building on that relationship that was further solidified after Bobby's passing.
Yes, I love it. I love it a lot.
So I feel like that scene really kind of highlighted their history, their family, but just everything Maxie about that. Being like, is this about your dad? She's like, I'll come at you for that later. We're putting a pin in that. And then she went at him and had some super strong points, being like, what did she say? You and Frisco Jones's daughter know better than anyone that you don't have room for a relationship.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. Damn. And then she just said, "Put the my drink on his tab."
Love it.
So, no, I was really blown away by those scenes. I thought they were amazing, gold star worthy.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Did we talk about all this stuff? Did we cover all of
No,
the things? No.
no. So so big reveal, Jens and Natalia.
Yes, we put those 2 things together
Oh,
way
yeah.
before last week when he
Oh,
hadn't
yeah.
followed, but we got a face to
Ages ago.
face.
It was the dinner. Remember when Sonny was supposed to be pretending to be with Carly for his alibi that again that
Yes.
disappeared and he was at the Metro Court with Natalia and then Natalia said, "I've dated dangerous men." We knew then.
Mhm.
And then Cody and Molly. So
Molly.
yeah, so they're just it's hilarious because it's all he's really poking at her perfectionism and wanting to be a little Miss Perfect. Just her the way her face dropped when he said, I would have done the same thing. She's like, oh
Yeah, I
no.
loved it.
So that was hilarious. And even how he managed to save them. I love that. Okay, there is one more thing. There is one more thing. Aren't you glad Mavis is okay?
Oh my gosh, I legit was like, it cannot be the dog.
Everybody was. But I was
So
just
bad.
so shocked that that happened. She actually had the nerve to tell Martin Sasha's like wonderful, but she's dumb.
I know, so bad.
And I honestly thought Sasha saw her phone that like Martin had called.
I know, me too.
And the fact that she put it together, like, you sure it's not Michael's?
So I was just it's a lot, but I'm glad that she won her over basically at the end of it all.
But what's the deal? So now, like, okay, so I hope she stole her little book.
I hope so too.
Uh, she like completely outwitted her. She called her PI office and basically asked for her whereabouts, and they handed it out like it was candy. On Halloween, I guess, because otherwise I'm not handing out candy to anyone. And then and then what she did with her dog, I'm like, Sasha, like you can't the dog can't wiggle out of the clicky thing, but whatever.
I
I just
know.
couldn't believe it. And then when the car, and so now this woman confesses that she was investigating her. So can Mavis detect pregnant women? That's where I'm at. Okay. But now she gets the dog? What's
For
going
a little
on?
while. She gets a dog for a little while, I
But,
think, until
but what's
she
but what's that about? She's gonna give Sasha the dog. What's gonna happen? Maybe like Elaine's gonna show up. She's gonna hear the secret. Like I don't know. She knows the court means, right? Because like Ned hired her.
Hmm, that's a really good question. But
'Cause-
maybe she'll
Okay.
share information with Sasha.
Yeah.
I don't know what information that is though.
Because I'm like, she just got a dog.
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe they
like,
just need
wow.
to like change up her character a little bit, make her feel good about having something to take care of.
I don't know. She got a dog. Like
She
that's
got a
what
dog.
happened. That's what happened. She outsmarted her and stole her dog.
I gave away a few of my favorite lines.
Me too, I
Um,
think, because they were all from that like hilarious scene at wait, so this bar's still open.
yeah.
What's it called again? The floating rib?
Yes. What
They have
about
so many places to go. I don't know. I'm acting like that's real.
that? Port Charles is fantastic. We would love a theme park based on the General Hospital set. That would just make all of my
Oh my
dreams come true.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, I do have another favorite line.
Go for
I have
it.
another favorite line. It was when Cyrus asked Martin for his help, saying he just has to convince Lucky. He has to talk to Lucky. And then
Mhm.
he's like, why? Because Lucky only hates you secondhand. It's
I
so
have
funny.
that one too. It's such a great line. And there's
Oh,
one I have for Tracy where I can't remember at what point of the conversation she said this to Willow, but it was the tone in which she said it to you. It was like, "How nice! All the better to commit adultery, my
oh
dear."
my
Like that
gosh.
little fairy
Yes.
tale.
Yes. Yes. That was so good because she's with Nina. I want to give a gold star to Tracy and Alexis's conversation because, like, I mean, if you
Yes.
remember all of that, I do. I remember when she did that and framed Alexis for drunk driving. It was pretty bad. And the fact that she's laughing about it is so funny. But I like the conversation, the seriousness, the respect, the history. Alexis explaining, I have a grandkid at stake in all of this too.
Yeah,
So
I
I
like
loved it.
them.
She's like, "Are we even?" She's like, "You actually have to do it." So I love their banter back and forth. That was really good. When, especially when she was like, "I'm not having dinner with you." After lesson.
But major star to Tracy in general, all her scenes
Yeah.
with everybody this week. I mean, she had a scene with Alexis, she had a scene with Jason, she had a scene with Carly. Like, she just rocks it every time she has a scene.
Oh my gosh, yes, her scene with Carly was really, really good. Especially like when Carly was telling her to like step off and don't do
Yep.
anything and why and throwing it back in her face. That's what you did, right? It's why you pushed her away. But then when she was like, get them, or she said something like that, where she knew Carly was up to something even more. I kind of like that.
Me
She definitely
too.
has like a place in the family to kind of be on the same side as Tracy in a way and to get her to like trust in your using your evilness for them.
Well, just the fact too that Nina sent Carly there, like that she knew she would fix that problem, like all of that was so amazing. But I have to give a minus star to the fact that Nina used the term Daddy Drew.
Mm, mm.
I did not like how that felt when she said that.
Oh my gosh, but I loved her. I really loved her meeting with Carly and convincing her. I guess I'm
Hmm.
curious how this goes because look, I do think that Nina has compassion for Michael. I really do. For all the crap she said about wanting Willow away from him right at the start of the whole cheating thing, she
Yeah,
definitely has shifted in perspective. But then, I don't know, I was a little surprised that the Nina that popped back up that was like, "She said nice things to me." Because frankly, I know Nina is not there yet when it comes to Willow, and that's more of a sensitive topic of, like, wishing and wanting this relationship and finally having it. But
hmm,
I truly feel her relationship she's acting like a mom, meaning you don't have to tiptoe. It's not fragile, and it means being a mom, you get to mom. Like, and you have a
yep.
foundation to do that with, and I truly feel that Nina is there, and I'm just curious as to when that's gonna come out because it's like it's just because she set up this whole deal with Carly, but technically she could solve this on her own.
I agree.
So that's why I'm kind of, like, uncertain, all of these players around the custody thing, right? So you have this plot with Carly, a secret you're keeping Tracy at bay, and then digging up this potential dirt that then leads to Sasha. So it's sort of like, what's going on? There's like a lot happening at once.
I totally agree. I can't wait to see how it shakes out.
Me too.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we did cover all the things. We did talk about all this stuff. We gave stars to everybody except for Cyrus, but he does creepy so well. So we give him a creepy star.
Okay, also a big star to Ava's apartment. Why is she being
Oh
like
my
that? I want her to
gosh.
decorate my house. Like, what are you talking about? It's beautiful.
It is stunning, and you completely read my mind. I giggled when she said I had to stretch my legs because her apartment's so small.
It's ridiculous. I don't wanna give a
Yes.
star to Rick because
No.
because he was not putting Avery first in that moment.
No, he was being selfish Rick.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Me neither. Oh my gosh, folks, that's a wrap. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye.
Bye.